God has a plan for you. Trust in the divine plan. In the vast expanse of the sea, a ship met its tragic fate, succumbing to the large waves of a storm, taking with it all its crew except one. By divine grace, this soul turned out to be the sole survivor of this tragedy, miraculously washed unconscious onto the shore of a deserted island. Upon awakening, he looked around and found remnants of the ship and other scattered items, but no survivors. He turned his gaze to the sky, grateful to be alive, fervently praying for the souls of his companions, and for his swift rescue, with a glimmer of hope, in this moment of anguish and desolation. Days passed with no sign of change, and the man's prayers seemed to echo into emptiness, unanswered. Nevertheless, the island managed to provide him with the bare minimum to survive, and undeterred by the silence, he clung tightly to his faith, a flickering flame amidst the desolation. In his spirit of recovery, he managed to build a humble shelter from planks, remnants of the ship, and other found objects, eking out a meager existence thanks to the island's provisions. Time had passed, showing no sign of a way out, as his prayers seemed to go unheard. In a moment of weakness, he thought that God had forgotten him, and to make matters worse, on that fateful day, tragedy struck again. His shelter, his only solace, began to catch fire, which he managed to stop, but then a strong breeze blew, reigniting the flames, consuming the shelter entirely, leaving him adrift in a sea of despair. Anguish and anger surged within him, and in his desperation, he cried out and questioned the divine plan, no longer doubting that God had abandoned him on this desolate shore. Heartbroken, that night after so much shouting and crying inconsolably over the tragedy, he finally fell asleep on the sand, at the edge of the beach. In the morning, with the noise made by his new friends, the seabirds, he woke up. Opening his eyes, he witnessed a miraculous event that morning. A small cargo ship was docked in the island's bay, undoubtedly his lifeline. Signaling to him miraculously, he was rescued. Astonished and grateful, he boarded the ship with a heart brimming with joy and newfound hope. After boarding, the crew gave him water, some food, and then he spoke with the captain. The captain told the survivor how fortunate he was to be a favorite of God. There is simply no other explanation, my friend. You are undoubtedly a favorite of God. Without all the signs he sent us, no one would have ever rescued you in this forgotten corner of the sky. The captain kept talking about a sign, which started as a small light that they saw but did nothing about. Then, a great beacon of fire appeared that guided them throughout the night to his rescue. The confusion turned into enlightenment, when the survivor realized that the fire that had consumed his shelter had served a greater purpose, a disguised divine intervention. Understanding what had happened, he knelt down, tears in his eyes, asking God for forgiveness, expressing gratitude to the Lord, and making a commitment to never, ever doubt him for any reason. From now on, his faith will be absolute in soul and heart. We appreciate you for reading until the end. If you have enjoyed our humble work, we respectfully ask for a like and subscription, which is free and greatly helps us. And our wish is for God to fill you with blessings.